What's up, Roulette Fools? Happy Tuesday. Brent with All on Black here. Okay, we're going to resume our 10 to 10,000 series challenge right now. Let's get right into it. Just one word of caution. The way I'm playing is far more aggressive than the way I want you to play. Okay, just understand that. While I'm still doing smaller bets, I'm accelerating the timeline. You don't need to do that. Okay, so I just want you to know that. I'll give you more details of how we're going to play today. Let's get going. All right, here we go. So I'm going to start off, since we can't get a bet in on time, we might as well get in and follow the streak here and see if she'll keep the streak while we're going. Okay, if you look, our balance, let's pull up our trusty Excel sheet. Here we go. We left off with a balance of 67.50. So if we go for 10%, that'd be $6, and 10% would be $6.70. We're not going to do that. We're aiming for about 3 to 5%. So let's just round that up to $7. We're going to go for around somewhere around $3.50. Okay. And of course we lost. So let's just, we're going to triple martingale this out. I'm going to run through a couple strategies again, and we're going to play each of those hopefully for $1 balance. Let's pull up our live stats graph here. Okay. And get our Excel sheet out of the way. There we go. So we're going to try for 3 strategies today, each with, roughly $1 each. So let's see how that goes. I just want you to be able to see how different things, how different strategies play out on a low bankroll. Okay. And then you can choose the one that works best for you. All right. So let's see what we got here. Of course not. As soon as we come in, she wants to hit it. We're going to stay on black. We're super martingaling, which means on a loss, we martingale it and add 1 base unit. Our base unit is 10 cents. So we're doubling it and adding 10 cents. It doesn't matter how many times you lose. When you keep doubling it, you're only adding 10 cents in this case, because that's our base unit. So double 10 cents. And what that does is when you finally win, okay, you're winning 1 base unit for every progression that you lost. Okay. Versus if you do a traditional martingale, you lose on an outside 1-to-1 bet. You lose. When you finally win, you recover and you go up 1 unit total. We'll go up that 1 unit plus every one. So it's almost as if, from a financial perspective, it treats it like you've won every single spin. And so it's an accelerated one, versus if you get on, like we are now, a losing run, right? Those are going to take up time. Boom, boom. When you finally win, it might have taken you 3, 4, 5, 6 spins to go up 1 unit, which would have been 1 spin. Okay. And this way, no matter how many we lose, when we finally win, it will have been as if we won every time. You get it. But it is a little bit more aggressive. So be aware of that. I just like showing you these. And I think next time we do this, we'll do a regular martingale and you can see how that plays out. All right, we're going for 15 minutes, and at the end of 15 minutes, we're stopping no matter what. All right, there we go, finally. Finally. All right, you know what? Let's stick on this outside bets, and we're just going to play black. We're going to play black and see how long it takes us to get up to $1. We're not going to play follow the winner. We're not going to play follow the loser. We're not going to play a pattern. We're just going to play static outside 1-to-1 bets. Now, what I am going to do is, if for some reason we start getting on this losing streak where it's just red, I'm not going to chase that. We're either going to switch over to red, or we're going to switch over. You have other choices. You have high, low, which is high is 19 through 36, low is 1 through 18, and you have red and black, or odd and even. So you don't have to stay there and try to muscle it out, right? You don't have to. Don't let your pride get in the way. Go, well, I started on black. Damn it. I'm going to finish, or whatever one you're on. I am going to make it win. That's a surefire way to lose. Okay. So don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, in here a little bit on one of our live streams, people were asking for some photos. So what I'm going to start doing is, in every episode, I'm going to try to pull 1 to 2 photos from my past and just show you a little bit about me. Here I am, telling you about my gambling history, cop stories, but you never really get to see anything. So I thought, let's share actually some photos so you can actually see part of my life, and they'll just be random. There's not going to be a theme. I'll just go through my photos, and when I find some will be scanned. The earlier ones will be scanned. Oh, of course. As soon as we come in, she decides to start hitting red. That is our luck. All right, we're going to double plus add 1 unit. So I'm going to show you some of those. So once again, let's pull up that Excel real quick and go through that. So we're doing really, really well. Look at that. We are at $67.50. If we get our $3 today, we'll be up at $70.50, or, you know, close enough. Like I said, we're going to shoot for $3 to $3.50, somewhere there. If we hit $2, that's okay. Because remember, I want our range to be 3 to 5%, 3 to 5%. Okay, so 3% is going to be right around that $2 mark, and 5% is going to be right around that $3.50-ish, maybe just a slight under. So don't worry about going exact percentages, okay? There we go. So we're up at 70 cents, so we're going to go back to black with 1 unit. If you're terrible at math, if you're absolutely terrible at math and you're looking at your balance and you're going, I don't know how I'm going to calculate, right, the 10% of that. Hopefully you're using Excel, and you can literally just multiply 67.5 by 0.10, and that'll give you your 10%. Or in your head, you just take the number, and if it's 10%, let it go this way. 10% has a single zero. So you're just going to move the decimal 1 to the left and make it smaller. So 67.50, because we're going with 10%, which is actually a multiplier of 0.10. Okay, don't worry about that part. But 10% is, if you actually multiply it in math, is 0.10 times whatever. But at 10%, you have 1 0. So you're going to move the decimal 1 over. If you have 100%, you're going to move the decimal 2 over, right? So we are at, and in which case you'd have a full 67.50. Yeah, it doesn't work on the 2-0. Never mind, that was dumb. I was trying to make it super easy for you. All right, let's go this way. 10%, you always move the decimal over to the right, to the left, excuse me, 2. All right, I'm just screwing you guys up, right and left. All right, I shouldn't have tried to find an easier way to do it. If you have 10%, 1 0 with the percent sign, the decimal is after the 1 0, right? 10.0%. When you want to convert that to a number in which you will multiply things by, you move the decimal to the left, 0.1. Okay? But so when you look at it, when you're going to multiply this by 0.1, you know you only have 1 decimal to go back to the right. You know what? Just forget it. Multiply it by 0.1. I'm doing a terrible job. I started getting a little bit sick. I think I'm catching the pneumonia my daughter had, or a chest cold. Okay, we hit 1.0. Beautiful. What we're going to go do now is, instead of betting that, we're going to just go straight up to 2 dozens. Let's just go straight into 2 dozens today. I'm going to keep it basic. And after 2 dozens, I was originally going to show you that we were going to just randomly pick 27 numbers, and that would do just as well as doing anything else if you were going to choose 27 numbers, whether that's 9 streets, whatever you want to do, 27 numbers. The downside to picking 27 individual numbers is you got 27 units, right? So you got 27 units. And by the way, we're going to 3x our bets. We're going to 3x our bets, which is aggressive. Okay. Be aware of that. So we're going to multiply, and now we got 0.3 units. And I really apologize for just butchering that percentage and how I was just trying to figure an easy way. In my mind, I do it, it's super easy. But anyway, I'm going back to that. I should just, yeah. I hear people in the audience already go, dude, shut up, quit talking. Shut up, quit talking. And look out for the 2 words. In fact, the first word we're going to do today, because of this, is quit. 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 as in quit talking. All right, there we go. There is a hit. And we're going for $2 right now, right? So we're going to go another here. We're up $1.10. We're going to go up another one. And as we get closer to the $15 mark, if we're doing well, we might be a little bit more aggressive and we might switch to a higher coverage system so that we can possibly win faster in terms of minimizing the number of losses we have. And we're hoping that we can have a couple consecutive wins and get us to the $3, $2 to $3 range. All right, so the first word is quit. And while that's spinning, I'll tell you what, on the next spin, I'll show you a picture from my past, a blast from the past. There we go. We're doing well. We're doing well. All right, we're at $1.10. I really want to expedite this, but we're just going to stay put. I was going to move up to like a 50-cent bet, but I don't want to go up to a total bet of $1. All right, let's take a look at that. Let's get this Excel down and let's pull up this personal. So there is me. That is a very, very, very young 17-year-old Private Brent Lamb in the U.S. Army. I look at that and go, oh my gosh. I guess through the lens of my eyes now, I feel like I'm 6. You know, I feel like I'm about the same age of these dealers. So it's so crazy. I look back at that and go, wowza. So, oh, what a scrawny little dude. What a scrawny little dude, man. Can't believe they allowed me to shoot a 50 cal. I can't believe they put an M16 in my hands, rocket launchers. I mean, it's unbelievable, right? But, you know, I look back and go, I was waking up early. I was going on long hikes. I mean, at that age, you can do those kind of things, even at, so I'm 53 now. And although I am way stronger than I was at 17, I'm also, you know, injuries. You guys know what I'm talking about. For those of you guys that are like, I want to say 45 and older. I think 40, I definitely noticed that I was starting to slow down more significantly after 40, but definitely after 50, I noticed a big change too. And by that, I mean, you know, thereabouts in that range, but injuries just last forever. You sprain your ankle when you're 17 and you're off of it for a bit and then you're just back up and going. Now you sprain an ankle and it's called chronic disease. You never get rid of it. It's a chronic injury. All right, we're at 11 minutes. We're coming on, so we're going to have to take a little bit of risks here as we get closer to 15 minutes and see. All right, I'll show you the second photo here. I'll show you the second photo. Another blast, not so far in the past, but still over 20 some years ago. Here we go. That is a very young Trooper Brent Lamb, the Oregon State Police. My landlord that I was renting a room from at the time, she wanted a photo of me and my dog with me in my uniform. So she gave me this gift certificate to go down to this photo studio and take a picture with my dog. My dog's name was Moxie, Moxie, and we just won. I'm sorry. Let me pull this over this way. Moxie, and we're going to rebet because we won that one. She was in a kill shelter, and it was her final day at the kill shelter. And my landlord, through a friend of a friend or a friend, was like, there's this lab. She's been beat up. She's been severely abused. She's just skin and bones. And if you walk up to her, she literally just cowers down. No one wants her. This is her final day at the kill shelter. They're going to put her down. My landlord's sitting there talking about it, and I'm hearing this. I'm getting ready for work one day. And all right, there's a loss, so we're going to go 3x. I was getting ready for work. I was downstairs. She had an old, big Victorian house with, it was pretty scary actually. And I had these little tiny stairs that went up into the high attic, and they said it was haunted. So I wanted that room because I wanted to see a ghost. I want to be proven that there's a ghost. That's one of those things I won't believe it until I see it with my eyes. Anyway, I'm sitting there. I'm kind of just eating some snacks and getting whatever. I don't remember. And I hear her talking about, I'm like, what kind of dog is it? And she's like, oh, it's either a chocolate lab or a Chesapeake Bay Retriever. Oh, of course she's going to give us 2 lows. Come on. All right, we're going to double this. The unit's now 3, right? So now the units needs to be 9. to 3x the previous bet, because you're going to times this by 3 when you do your next bet. So I'm like, what kind? They're like, oh, it's a chocolate lab. And I'm like, wow, I'm going right now. I will. And I asked my landlord, Ruth, I'm like, Ruth, if I take her, will you let me have a dog? And she's like, absolutely. I mean, they already had 2 dogs in the house. So she's like, absolutely. So I run down there, and of course I walk up to her, and she's skin and bones and just missing hair and just been through it all. Come on. All right, we're at 90. This is dangerous. So now we got to go to 270 each. 9 times 3 is 227, 270. So we're going to go there, 180, 230, 40, 50, 60, 70, 40, 50, 60, 70. All right, let's get a win here. This is a $5.40 bet. We lose this, we're just going to stop. This is what happens when you become aggressive with this, especially on 2 dozens. I like Super Martingale. If I have a low bankroll, I don't like playing 2 dozens because your bets just get too big and the risk of loss is just too high. So let's see if we can get a win here. Anyway, I go down there. She's skin and bones. You walk up to her. She just cowers. Fug. This freaking dealer. I'm kidding. It's not even the dealer, but she is kicking her ass. All right. We're going to go one more time. I'm going to try to double up. If I double up here and I win, it only brings us down to the previous progression in which we would have to win that one to go up. All right. This is a 1080 bet. We'd be down to $50. We definitely would call it quits right here. Anyway, she would, and I could see why. I mean, I can sort of see why no one would want her. I think too many people, when they go to rescue shelters, they expect this animal that's just like ready to go from Petco. And you need to put a little work. A lot of these animals haven't seen any love whatsoever. So I don't know. There was something that just clicked between me and her. And come on, Fug. Good gracious. Are you serious? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row in that first dozen. I'm going to get stubborn here. We're going for it. I'm getting stubborn here. Now we got to win 3 in a row. Dang it. This is why I normally hate 2 dozens. It's just, I feel like this happens to me more often than not. You just, whatever you're doing. Now you could play follow the winner like we've done. Statistically, it doesn't matter. And in my history of playing this, it doesn't matter whether I would have followed the winner or not. So anyway, I'll take this picture down. I don't know. Something clicked with me. I just saw her but anyway, so I took her, and she became an amazing dog. It took a little bit to get her back to health, but it was really funny. She would, yes. Okay, finally. All right. So what was that bet? That was 1080. We're just going to go down to, let's do this. That was 1080. We're going to go down to 550. There we go. 80. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, there we go. 580. Let's hope we can get a couple in a row. I don't know. We just clicked, took her home, and I don't know. We bonded like super fast, and she just would follow me around. She wanted to go everywhere I went. She wouldn't go with anybody else, and it was one of those things where, come on, yes, let's go. So that was what I say. That was 580. Okay, what did I say it was? That was 580. All right. So we're going to go 1, 2, 1, 580, 250, 220, 240. All right, there's 240. That's not even 580. It's supposed to be 290, I think. Yeah, 290, not 240. So this won't fully recover us, but I'm happy that we didn't go bust here. Anyway, it was awesome. And this is what was crazy. I would be patrolling on, a swing shift for, yes, there we go. Swinging from, usually from 4 p.m. to midnight or 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. all right, $1.70. We're going to go 50 cents. We would have been up. And, everyone in the house would tell me, because every time I would come home for lunch, like in the middle of my shift, you're allowed to go home for shift. You just you just tell them dispatch, 12:02 lunch break, my house. 12:02 is code for I'm stopping for whatever reason, a traffic stop. You followed up with whatever you're doing, 12:02 traffic, 12:02 something, whatever you're doing. It just means, hey, I got a situation, I'm stopping, 12:02 lunch break. And every time I would come home, come on. All right, you know what? Enough of this ridiculous. We just lost $1. This is why I just never like 2 dozens. Just too much work. Let's go. We're going to go to 5 double streets and see if we can wrap this thing up. And that would be a $1 win. That would be a $2 win. We're going to go for a $2.50 win here. Again, I'm being far more aggressive than you should be. When you got up here to a $1.70, you should have either called it a day or gone all the way back down to your base bet and ground back up from there. Heck, even when you were just down at this point right here, where you're only down 70 cents, you should have just ground back up from there after you took a nice break. When you get close to recovery, too often you get to that point and then you get the streak of losses again. There we go. All right, we are at, what is that? What did I say, 250? Okay, we're at 320. We made it to 320, which is exactly where I wanted us to be. Let's pull open the Excel spreadsheet. So we wanted about 320. So we're going to go plus that plus 3.2. There we go. We got 770 for the day. We're up 320, which is right around our 5% target. Again, I'm condensing the amount of time I have. So I want to expedite, which means I'm going to take a little bit more risks on here. Luckily, it worked out for us, but you could end up going south very quickly. As you saw right here, we had to end up placing a bigger bets. Please don't do that. When we were up here, you're down $1.10. If that strategy is not working for you, take a break and come back and do something else. And that's why I kind of want you to see different strategies as we go along. Anyway, I'll finish up my story real quick. I'm sorry. And they would tell me that when I would come home for my lunch break, usually around 9 or 10 p.m. in the night, and I'd pull in front of the house, I'd look, and Moxie, my dog, her name was Moxie Money Lamb, she would be sitting either, if it was summer and the front door was open, it was just a screen door at the front, she'd be sitting at the door, or if it was winter, she'd be sitting, I had a little perch window, those little, I can't remember what you call those, and she'd be sitting in that little window, and my Ruth and the other roommates would tell me, she didn't sit there all night. Somehow, like a few minutes before I get home every night, she would go. And I wouldn't be coming home the same time every night because traffic stops or issues. She'd always know. I don't know. It was crazy. I absolutely loved her. She was an amazing dog and she went everywhere with me. All right. Dummy me, I forgot to give you the last word that you need. The last word is Moxie, M-O-X-I-E, Moxie, M-O-X-I-E. So there you go. The 2 words you need, the final being Moxie, M-O-X-I-E, in honor of my beloved dog. All right, take care. That's it for today. We hit our 5%. Great job. We're going to see what we can do. We're going to do this video twice a week, probably, or actually we might be cutting down to once a week on this video, but I'll only do the sessions here. The $1 million video series, go check that out. That'll probably be 3 times a week. But if we go to 3 videos a week, it might be 2 of those and 1 of these. Anyway, stay tuned for it. And by the way, check out our YouTube memberships. Great perks for that, for the live stream, giving away lots of money. And our leaderboard. Congratulations to those again who won the March leaderboard. All right, that's it. Be good humans. All right, this is our year, 2025. We're going to stick it to the casino. All of us against them. All right. Get in our Discord and share your stories, share your knowledge. We could all learn from each other. All right. That's it. Have a great day. Cheers.